So welcome everyone. Thank you for joining today. Hopefully everyone is fine with your family and friends during these days. So I am going in the next few minutes talk and share some thoughts with you about best practice
By the
for
way,
architecture.
Viviane, can you just do one small thing, which is minimize that window, the Teams window, just so that it's not showing up?
Okay, yes, sure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Also, thank you for our sponsor. Hopefully you all will be there, and if he's online, so for sure you can join us. Here's some additional research because I am going to talk about a lot of different tools, and there are a lot of considerations to take care when you are deciding about the best architecture for your environment. So I prepared some additional research, and you can find it here after the session. So if you have any doubts about what I was sharing with you here or any questions, you can go there and check it out. And here are some channels that you can follow me in Twitter, email. So I work in BI do Brasil and at Master Data Lab. Feel free to contact me if you have any questions about this session or about anything related to data and AI. Our main objectives for these sessions, first of all, I want to discuss about our challenge and talk a little bit about real-time data solutions and all the tools that we have. Second, I want to do a demo with you and discuss a little bit more about the architectures and get you inspired. So basically, I love to talk about this topic about real-time data and AI because with real-time data, we can make the difference and we can transform business and impact lives. So real-time data analysis allow us to bring the digital transformation that the customers and business needs. And so we can change the ways that the business connect with their customers and partners using it. But we have some main challenges that we need to address here. And basically, we need to think about of these key points. We need to have in mind that you need to ingest, process, and store messages in real-time data and work with high volumes. And when we are receiving and processing all this data, we need to jump in and act on data quickly. So if I am looking and if I am trying to find some kind of fraud, for example, and if that data that it's passing there, at that moment, I need to act on data. So I need to present this kind of data in a real-time dashboard, or I need to store this data to later analysis, or I need to do both. So this is one of the things that we need to have in mind. And what are our data producers and consumers? So this data is being processed by my applications, or I am receiving this data from IoT devices. And these kind of questions can make the difference when we are defining which kind of architecture or solution we are going to use. Other very important point, we need to have simplicity, scalability, and reliability. So how do you prepare to scale, to adjust for data rates when needed, and to prevent any kind of data loss? Other point, very important one, it's about security. So we need to encrypt the data. We need to have sure that just authorized and authenticated clients will be accessing our data. So when we are defining the solutions and the architecture, you need to have all these points in mind. And we have several tools, and probably you are asking for yourself, which kind of tools and solutions should I use? Because there are so many that sometimes I am a little bit confused about, right? So let's try to clarify a little bit better here. So basically, here I have a real-time processing architecture. Have in mind that you have your data source that are producing the data. And we have here the first phase is the ingestion phase. So you need to have some kind of message broker service to receive all this data and to store this data in real time. And we have some options in Azure here. So we have event hubs, we have IoT Hub and Kafka. The next phase is the stream processing phase. So basically, I need to have a tool that I am going to connect to the message broker source, check the data, filter the data that really matters for me, aggregate this data, and so I need to define the output for this data. And I can send this data to a SQL data warehouse, for example, to store for later analysis, or I can send this data in real time to a Power BI dashboard tool. But I still have the question, Vivi, which kind of solution should I use here? So we have these three. All these three solutions process millions of messages per second, or billions of messages per day, or trillions. And basically, let's discuss about the main difference between them. Azure Event Hub is managed service in Azure, so you can start with very few clicks in a very easy way and start playing with it. Kafka, on the other hand, you need a cluster to initialize it, and so you have some administrative efforts on it because you need to administrate, you need to implement this kind of cluster. Azure IoT Hub, it is a managed service too. And it was developed especially to work with connected device. And it provides bidirectional communication with connected device. What that means, that while I am receiving data from this device, I can send data to it. I can send comments to it too. And I want to say thank you to my neighbor. I don't know if you are hearing, but it just started some kind of change on his apartment. So thank you so much for it.
But it's fine.
That's
it's
right.
not.
It's not. We are not hearing anything.
Yeah,
No, you are
you're not hearing. No, no, no.
Awesome. So
That's awesome.
thank you for my microphone, because there is some kind of noise here. Thank you. So keeping moving on, but basically, so okay, Vivi, I have these three tools. Have in mind that if you are just on the beginning and you are collecting data from IoT devices, you should consider IoT Hub. Why? Because we have this bidirectional communication with devices, and because we have more security. We have per device identity on IoT Hub. Event Hub, we have some AMQP protocol that supports asynchronous communication. And on Kafka, think in the following way. If you need a more customizable environment, you should consider Kafka. So basically, I think that the main rule here is if Event Hub and IoT Hub is supporting you on what you need, it's better because you have low costs starting working with these tools. We have a very good and nice performance with Event Hub, and it's a tool that it's completely easy to manage. On the other hand, Kafka, you have more administrative efforts, but you have a more customizable environment. So if you need to customize more, if you need to work on premise environment, Kafka could be an option too.
So, Viviane, we have a question. What about the message size? Is that important? So does the message size play a role in which one to choose?
Yes, it is. Event Hub, if I am not wrong, it supports about 256 kilobytes of message. And Kafka, you can configure until 1 megabyte, if I'm not wrong. There are some difference. And Kafka performs quite well with the message in 10 kilobytes. Okay. So yes, it can be a consideration to have in mind. But usually Event Hub attains a lot of different kind of scenarios, but you should consider this too. Okay. Any other question?
No, not right now.
Not okay. So we have three main questions that we need to do for ourselves when we are defining the architecture. So first is do you need two-way communication between your IoT device and Azure? If so, you should use IoT Hub. Do you need to manage access for individual devices and be able to revoke access to a specific device? If yes, IoT Hub. choosing between IoT, Event Hub or Kafka, at the end of the day, you need to ask yourself, what degree of control do I need? So as I mentioned before, if for some reason you need to customize more the environment, so Kafka, you have this possibility. So let's do a demo session here and see this working in real time. So I brought two demos for you here. One of them, let's start with.
So Vivi, before we start with the demo, there's another question. Is it a best practice to not send images or any blobs?
To not send images to the blobs?
So is it a best practice to not send images or any blobs?
To process in the Event Hub?
I think it is to send as part of a message that goes into the hub. Yes. So is it a best practice not to include images or blobs on the messages that get sent?
This is a question that I need to check it out better to answer you, because maybe if I answer it now, I am not providing better answer. But I think that maybe the best way, I will not answer because I don't want to answer wrong for you. So maybe send me an email later and I can take it offline. Can be.
Okay.
Okay. So I check about the best way to look through the image and receive it in real time. This is the question, right?
I think it's related to that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I take your question offline. Okay. And so moving on with the demo here, I can just check, and I have here a Databricks, and I have some scripts to process all the information that I need. That's basically what I am doing here. I am connecting to my Event Hub namespace that I have, and I am importing some libraries from Twitter. And I am connected in the Twitter account. And after that, what I am doing, I am getting all the data related to COVID-19. So if you tweet right now, let me run this script. I have a Scala script here. So what I am doing, I am connected in the Twitter, and I am processing all the data that you are referring to COVID-19, and I can get this data in real time, and I am sending to the Event Hub here. So if you want to tweet anything, I can get here. And I have another script here that is to process this data. So basically what I am doing, I am connected to the Event Hub, the same one, and I am getting all the data. But what happens here? If you look through this data, I am looking and I am reading in a binary format. So that's not so nice, because usually Event Hubs, it store the data in a binary format. So I am doing the following. I am running this cell here, and I can just bring the data in a way that I can read it. Let me cancel this and run the following here. So basically now I am able to see the time that this tweet was sent to the Event Hub, and I can see the body of the message. So what's there? And let me put a little bit here. But okay, I have the tweets and I have the data, but I want to go a little bit further. I want to see the sentiment of this tweet. So I want to do a sentiment analysis here, and I am using cognitive services for it. Let's see, it's running this notepad, and let me cancel this other one. Okay. So let's see this script. I am importing some libraries here, and I am connecting to Cognitive Services API. Everyone here is already knows something about cognitive services. If not, I'm going to explain in the next few minutes. But basically, there are some ready APIs that you can use and apply AI in our data. Imagine that you don't have knowledge about training and how to model and prepare some machine learning working with artificial intelligence, but we have in Azure Cognitive Services that they are APIs ready for it, and so you just need to consume. You can create, initialize this API on Azure, and you can connect that and consume it. So here I am using the language to text analysis, and so I am calling some functions here. The get language I am using, and I am using the get sentiment to get the sentiment of the Twitter. And so imagine that I am going to score this tweet from 0 to 1. What means that if it's more close to 0, it is a negative sentiment, and if it's more close to 1, I have a positive one. So imagine this inside of your business, or if you are managing some kind of event and you want to know the experiences or what the people are talking about you, about your business in the social networks. And you need to qualify and understand if it is a nice one, and if it's not a good comment, you need to take some actions on it. And so this allows this. Okay. And just moving for the next demo. Let me show you a little bit here about the Event Hub. So basically, I have a namespace created here, and I have 2 Event Hubs. One for the Databricks that I just used right now inside of my scripts. I have here, I can check in these dashboards how is being consumed and used, hear it. And I have some policies. And I can have here, this other one, is that one that I am going to use right now. In this first demo that I just showed you, I was showing to you Azure Databricks with some scripts in Scala and just using Azure Event Hub. Now I am going to use Stream Analytics because I am going to get all the data from Event Hub and send to a Power BI dashboard. So in another computer that I have here, let me start an application that will start to send some data to my Event Hub. And check how it works here in the streaming side. I have some inputs defined that it is pointing to my Event Hub. And I have some outputs defined that are pointing to a Power BI dashboard. And so if you go through the Power BI here, I can start seeing this in real time. Are you able to see? So imagine that now I am just collecting some data about taxis or about some vehicles. And I want to know the distance that they are running, or I want to know how many vehicles I have in a trip, or how many I have available, or how many cancellations I have in my trips. And so if I have some business related to taxis, I could just monitor this in real time. And how this is happening? Let's see here in the Stream Analytics side. So I have the inputs defined that I am just getting this data from Event Hub, and I have here the query. Remember that I mentioned that we need to filter, aggregate the data, and define the rules to identify the data that we need to take some action. Is on that part that you can do this. So basically here I have 3 selects. I am using some aggregation. So if you work with T-SQL and you know SQL Server, it's quite simple. We are using T-SQL here. We can use CTE here too. And notice that I am doing some select statements here, and I am sending this to a Power BI output. Note that I have 4 different outputs here. In this, I am using this 3. And I am saying from where I am getting this data. So here I am getting this data from the Event Hub, but I could use a CTE here and get the data from the CTE and join this data with the Event Hub. So I could do this too. And here below I have another select statement, but I am sending to a different note here, a different output. I could be sent to a SQL data warehouse and a SQL Azure. I could be sending this data to a blob storage and other solutions. And just getting back here in the Power BI, let me show you my data sets. So if you look here in the Power BI, I have these data sets, and these 3 data sets are related to my stream analytics job. So if you check here, Power BI hoppings. So when I created this output, let me go here. Note that when you are creating and defining the output, I am not able to add a new output now because my job is running, but if I stopped Stream Analytics, I am able to add, and so it will allows you to choose the output. And in the other hand, in the inputs, the source. Here I am connecting with Azure account in Power BI. I'm defining what is the account that I am going to use. And here, the name of the output, the dataset name. Are you checking here? And all of them, I put Cabby in the beginning. And here in Power BI, I have Cabby in the beginning, and this is the dataset that I am using. So questions until here? Let me get a little bit to the slides. So basically in these 2 demos, any questions? No.
No, Viviane. Whenever there are questions, I'll bring them up. Don't worry.
Okay, thank you. So here I have the data source, and we were using in the first demo, in both demos, I was using Event Hub. And in the second demo, using Stream Analytics to define what is the output of the data. And so we send this data to a Power BI in real-time dashboard. Here I have another kind of architecture that we can explore. Basically, what we have here, we have some data coming and using Azure Data Factory. Some of you already know Azure Data Factory, already heard anything about or are already working with it. So basically, Azure Data Factory, it helps us to do the ETL, so all this extract, transform, and load the data. And we can bring all this data to a Azure Blob Storage, for example, or to a Azure Databricks, or to SQL Data Warehouse to store all this data. But it will allow you to process the data, defining some kind of schedule. So every 5, 10, 15 minutes, every 1 hour, or once a day. It's more for batch processing. If you need to work more in a real-time kind of analysis, you need to bring this data using Kafka, Event Hub, or IoT Hub. And you can bring this data to Databricks or to SQL Data Warehouse too. And so you will use, in the first demo, I showed you the Azure Databricks, and you could store all this data using some structured and unstructured data, and you could consolidate all the data here and use some machine learning techniques applied to this data. And after that, you could just split the data to send to a SQL Data Warehouse or Power BI. And we have analysis services here. Anyone is using analysis services today? Nico told you, and he did a great session talking about Azure Synapse Analytics. And basically, we have here in this architecture, in this image, Azure SQL Data Warehouse. And Azure SQL Data Warehouse was rebranded to Azure SQL Synapse. And so now it's Azure SQL Synapse. And we have some very nice new features and a lot of nice new features coming in the way. And so soon we probably will have all integrated in Azure SQL Synapse, and we will connect Power BI directly in Synapse, apply Azure machine learning techniques directly on it. Because if you look through this today, we have Azure Databricks split from Azure SQL Data Warehouse, and in the new picture that we have from Synapse, we have all of these integrated. That's quite nice. Talking about some streaming solutions, I let some document here, and probably indeed we have a table that it's comparing each one of the stream analytics, and they have some main difference between them that you need to pay attention. It's about the support for programmability and the support for the price model. So we have some of these streaming solutions that they support programmability on Scala, Python, Java. And related to the pricing models, we have some of them that are being charged using streaming units or per cluster hour. And this can make some kind of difference when you are deciding which kind of solution you should use. So just pay attention to that. I will not compare each one of these solutions here. We don't have time for this, but I just put all this information in the real-time architecture link. Talking about Lambda architecture, basically we have two paths when we are receiving our data. The first step, we could just, we will receive the data, and so we can split in two different layers. One layer, it's more related to the batching process. So, and if you remember the image that we just saw about the architecture, when we are using the Azure Data Factory, we are working more in the batching layer. And we have the other that it's the speed layer, that it's to have more the data processed on real time. And what happens here, basically, in the first layer, I am answering questions like how many tweets I had in the last few days or in the last few months, and what was the sentiment of them. And in the speed layer, basically, I am answering how many tweets I had in the last few seconds and in the last few minutes. And so, of course, I can have a queries to consolidate all this data and answer all the information needed for my key users. Talking about more one kind of architecture that we could use here, it's about Azure Cosmos DB. So if you are working with Azure Cosmos DB, we can enable the change feed feature on it and work with Apache Spark in Stream Analytics to process the data in real time. It's more one option to you about architectures. And talking a little bit about AI, because you know, mixing AI and real-time data, it's a very powerful solution for our business. We can use some cognitive services. How many of you already are working with cognitive services? Basically, Microsoft let it available in 5 different domains, that it's vision, speech, web search, language, and decision. And one very cool thing that you can have is that we have Azure Cognitive Services to deploy and run as a cloud service, but you can have it in anywhere as a container. So you can work with cognitive services too on-premise. And basically, Microsoft have been investing in Azure AI strategy. And the key points that they are looking through it is bringing AI to every application and to every developer. And this is the point that I mentioned, that even if you don't have a very deep knowledge about data science, you can use some APIs from cognitive service already ready for it. But if you are a very nice and a very good data science, so you can build your own machine learning and deep learning solutions, and we have Azure Machine Learning for it. So basically the principles, any language, to any developer, to any skill level. And every time they are trying to optimize the work to any scale for existing business systems and processing. And talking about digital transformation, I will not explore all the cognitive services, but I will just focus on the last news that we have on it. Basically, here, thousands of customers already working on it, and some very nice numbers. I don't know if you are aware already, but we had some from IDC that we will have about 50 billion of connected devices by 2025. And 175 zettabytes estimated on data growth by 2025. And 3.9 trillion of revenue driven by AI by 2022. And probably with all these issues that we've been facing with coronavirus, we brought a lot with AI. I don't know if you are aware, but here in Portugal, there is a huge movement with several initiatives that are using AI to transform the business and to transform the healthcare area to help more on it. And basically, if we have data and we need to work with AI, we need great computing, and because of that, Azure is already in presence on more than 54 regions worldwide. And great AI needs great data. So if you have all these numbers estimated of data, Microsoft is investing more and more to have more features, more cool features in Azure Database and Azure Analytics. And Azure SQL Synapse, it's one of the results of the investments that Microsoft have been done on it. Great AI needs great algorithms, and so in cognitive services, we have some algorithms focused on vision, so to work with images and videos. And we have to-speech, to convert text to speech, speech to text. Language, the demo that I showed to you today, I was using some language APIs to analyze text. And we have some focused on knowledge too. Basically, we have all these Azure cognitive sources. So we have about 30 APIs, a little bit more or less than these, available. So you can just get the API, initialize on Azure, and start working on your application. In Vision, we have some with face recognition and emotion recognition. So imagine if you want to know if the person is happy. So if you have a person looking through your product in your store, you want to analyze the sentiment of this person, you can do this with the APIs that are inside of the Vision. And we have, as I mentioned to you, I will not pass all through this, but I want to mention just some few news that we have. There is this that it's quite nice. It's the personalizer. I don't know if you already heard about it, so just let me know in the chat. I will read later. But basically, imagine that you have a business, an online business, and you need to understand more the profile of your customers. And so you could offer, do better offers to them. And this new API, it helps you to do this. So it uses reinforcement learning. And every time that the user is on your website and checking your product, it is learning about the user's behavior. And so the next time it will be offering better things according to the profile of your user. So it creates a kind of keyword score for it. And personalizer already was used in Xbox Home and MSN News, so it already brought some very nice results. About Vision, it's not so new. Of course, we had some improvements in the APIs because we always have things to improve on it. But basically, it's quite nice. You can do some kind of image recognition and check the emotions like you are seeing here. So you can just upload the image and it will identify some key things on the image and here about the sentiment. And this is that I like the most. I don't know about you, but I really hate to do some kind of expense report or reimbursement, right? I am speaking right. So I don't like to do this, and these APIs allows us to create an application that you could take a picture from your receipt, and it will get all the key and values for this receipt. This is quite nice. Other API, other new that you have that we can just get an invoice in a handwritten way, and it will identify the key and the values and load this in a JSON file format. So, and you can manipulate all this data. And to finish this session, but I want to bring you this AI for good. I really believe that we as humans and as person, we need to look through the business, but more than the business, we need to look through people and we need to look through lives. And AI and all this data relation, we can really provoke the difference in our region, in our countries, and we can make use of AI for good and really make the difference. So,
okay, Viviane, before we go ahead, we have one question. So using the speech framework, do you have any idea if it is possible to use the text-to-speech to return directly to the speakers instead of getting an audio file?
The question is, I can convert speech to text and text to speech.
But is there a way to do that pretty much like on real time, being able to return the response directly to the user instead of getting a file?
Yes. It's possible, of course, but you need to, there are some projects in development on it. So, for example, imagine that now during this session, we could have some kind of simultaneously translation. And in the other hand, here I am speaking in English, but you could be receiving myself speaking in Portuguese, right? This is the main point. Yes, it's possible. But it's
ongoing work.
That I know that there are some tools being developed, but I don't know if you have any tools already working 100% on it. But yes, we have this under development.
Okay.
I was clear on that?
I think so. Yeah.
So basically, yes, we have tools. We can do this, but if I should tell you, we had some session about in the keynote at the Ignite that I have the video, maybe I can show later, where we are using some mixed reality. I don't know if you saw, but in the mixed reality, it was just starting. You could see yourself speaking in other languages. But of course, it was a demonstration of the keynote. But yesterday I was in a conference in London, and in the discussion, there were a project that they were working right now to achieve this, to bring a solution that you can have all this conversation converting in real time. Okay. Any other question?
No, not so far.
Okay. So I want to let this link to you. So we have more than 100 million of investments being designated for AI for good. So let me see if I have here the link. And I want to ask you guys, because we have very, very powerful tools in our hands. If I look through the past, in some years ago, I could, if a customer asked to me, Vivi, I need to process this data in real time, I would say, oh, let's figure out if it's really needed. Let's check it out better and see all the details, because we had very poor tools. It was the projects were we had very complex inside of the project, and it was expensive. But nowadays we have more powerful tools, more easy way to use. So basically, Event Hub, in few clicks, you can start using and processing this data in real time. Of course, we have challenges. Of course, we do have. For example, we have a question today about image, and I didn't want to answer because it's not a very simple question. And of course, that this kind of thing, we need to translate simultaneously at the same time. We have some complexity in the project. It's not just do this and you will be this ready. Of course, but it's much more efficient and in a low cost that comparing with the past. So basically, Azure Event Hub with $100, you can process billions of messages per month. So it's not expensive if you look through all the benefits that you can have with it. And here, this AI for good. So take a look on this page, take a look on what you can do, because now with coronavirus situations, I am working with some projects that I am not charging for these projects. I am just working to help people, because we have knowledge to do this. If you work with data, if you work with data science, if you work with cognitive services, there are a lot of things that we can do in this moment to help to improve the lives in your region, in your countries. And so, but we like for professionals. And are you able to hear this? If I just play this video, are you hearing the sound?
No. You have
when...
to share the audio. When you're sharing, you have to also say that you want to share the audio.
Yeah.
So you have to stop sharing, okay? And then share again your screen. And there is a checkbox on the top that says include system audio.
It's on top of the sharing
but
now.
I did. Yeah, let me see.
Okay, you did that? Oh, okay.
Yeah, but not sure where it is.
You have to stop sharing.
Again.
Okay, just stop sharing. Yeah. Okay. Now start sharing again. So
there is
you saw that checkbox says include system audio.
Yeah. And now.
Like never before,
Perfect.
Our world is changing. Faced with some of our most critical challenges, human ingenuity triumphs. Today, the Microsoft AI for Good initiative enables a person with an idea to accelerate it, to give it scale, to create change for the better.
Microsoft AI will help our work by empowering people to take action.
Through AI for Earth, photos can now help save a species. With AI for accessibility, the visual world becomes an audible experience.
Sanitary and peanut butter.
And with AI for humanitarian action, first responders can target their efforts faster than ever before.
It feels humbling to know that I'm actually helping another human being.
Today, we are empowering others to forge new paths, to fight famine before a crisis strikes, and protect ecosystems by identifying forests down to a single tree.
We have the forest that we have today. We can't change that. What we can change is the future.
Microsoft AI is fueling some of the most passionate and creative people on our planet, with the help of citizen scientists, to make change, once thought impossible, real.
AI will know and understand and model based on the child interaction.
AI unleashes new possibilities to impact our world. And together, we're not just dreaming it, we're doing it.
Awesome. Before you move, we have here,
right now.
Sorry. We have here a question.
Okay, can say.
Getting the file gives you the flexibility to upload it to a media service to encode it as your clients need and stream it in the best possible way. Okay, I think it was just a comment. Yeah, sorry.
Okay, it was not a question.
Yeah, I thought it was a question.
Read it again, please. Let me.
Maybe we can comment on this. So it's Vitor Paulino. He says, getting the file, okay, gives you the flexibility to upload it to a media service, to encode it as your client's needs and stream it in the best possible way.
Okay, nice. Thank you. So guys, with this, I want just to close and to let this message. I think that there are a lot of possibilities using real-time data and AI, and we have this kind of technologies and solutions, but we lack for professionals that know how to use. And knowing the solutions, you can really make the difference. So please make the difference. Thank you so much for joining the sessions. If you have any other questions, I am here to answer. I will let these additional resources and the links so you can get all this information later and keep in touch using my channels here. Thank you so much.
Okay, great. Thank you, Viviane. It was awesome presentation.